Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be testing the latest firmware on the DJI Spark. Now, for those of you who own a DJI Spark, you may have heard of one or two little problems, and a firmware version has now been released which apparently sorts out some of these issues. Some of these issues include disconnects, gesture control not working properly or not being recognized, and disconnects between your remote control and your mobile device, and little nigglies, bugs which have been sorted out. And one of the other major things which has been sorted out is gesture photos, which ended up being very small, and they have now been corrected and are now 12 megapixel. You can update the firmware on your Spark using the mobile app, the DJI Go 4 application, or you can use the DJI Assistant 2 software on your laptop or PC, which is what I did. And the version you need to have there, make sure you have that one, is version 1.1.2. The release version of this firmware is on the 26th of July, so it's pretty new. And the version is now version 1.00.0500. They love their long numbers. So you need to ensure that you have the latest DJI Go 4 application, which is now at version 4.1.4. Also, a little thing, warning: if you have multiple batteries, you need to remove every battery that you've updated on the latest firmware and insert a new battery and connect it up to DJI Assistant 2 again, to make sure that you update every one of those batteries, because every battery needs a small update. One of the things that they've improved, probably the most important one, is the photo resolution has been upgraded to 12 megapixel for your gesture modes. Also, a new gesture mode has been added for video, finally, which should have been there in the beginning. And also an option has been added for adjusting your gimbal tilt speed or sensitivity. We are going to test that just now. And also they have added a 180-degree pano shooting mode. Let's see if we get around to testing that as well. The aircraft will now descend to 1.5 meters if it is flying below 4.5 meters in gesture control mode, in case it has lost connection with you as a person for 1 minute. Then it'll drop so that you are able to grab onto it or do a palm landing or whatever you need to do. It'll descend 3 meters if it's flying above 4.5 meters. But anyway, I don't use gesture mode that much. I think I'll test it just to see if it works. Improve the overall gesture recognition. I've never even tried it, so I don't know if there was really a problem, but for you guys who use gesture mode, there you go, it has been improved. An issue has been fixed where the photos fail to save. The aircraft will now exit quick shot. Now this is an important one for me. I like the quick shot modes, the droney going out and the rocket and the spiral and those things. Now it'll automatically, with this update, it'll automatically stop what it's doing if you do a stick control in the opposite direction of where it's moving. Now they also say here that they fixed an issue where the aircraft didn't descend high enough with a droney quick shot, and they optimized the rocket. Now this is one of those that I noticed. The droney to me stayed way too low, and if you look at the previous video where I did my flight test, when I was flying back there, I was fast approaching the trees and the droney wasn't high enough, so I actually stopped it. And they have also optimized the FPV gimbal mode in sport mode to keep the gimbal from reaching its end point. And let's hope that sorts out some of the gimbal issues where it absolutely freaks out when you are in sport mode. They fixed the issue where the remote control would sometimes disconnect from the aircraft. Now that is worrying, so yes, we're happy that they have sorted that out. I never experienced that. I don't know if other people did experience that. And then they also fixed a rare issue where the remote controller couldn't be switched off. They say that they have also improved the aircraft and remote controller responsiveness. I didn't have any response issues, but for those who had, there you go. And they optimized the battery level calculation, and that is the reason you have to insert every battery that you have and refresh that firmware just to get that updated. So let's go ahead, and the first thing I want to do is let's try gesture control and see if these things that they say they fixed have actually been fixed. We just need to start up the Spark. Now in my case, I know that my gesture control has been switched off because I don't actually use it, and if you want to test gesture control, you obviously need to start it up in your application. Click on go fly, everything looks normal, 3 dots at the top right, and we need to go to the visual navigation settings, and right at the bottom is enable advanced gesture control. So we're going to enable that. Right, you click enable at the bottom. Now advanced gesture control is enabled. Now to start a gesture control flight, we need to just double click the power button at the back. It'll go green. Once it goes red, and there we go. Palm up, right, and it goes green, so I should be able to control it with my palm. A little more this way. Right. Okay. Now, let's try a photo just to see what the photo quality is like. Right, we try the photo, that's the square. Okay, cool. So the photos work, and right, the next thing I want to try is the wave. Put up my palm, wait for it to recognize. Okay, and then wave. Right, now it's a little further. We can do another photo maybe. Okay, it's flashing red. And there you go. Right, now to start video, okay, let's just bring it back. Okay, there we go. Okay, palm control. Want it a little up. There you go. Then red. Put out the arm. Right, we've got a bit of a wind. Okay, palm control. Right, move it back a little bit. Right, we moved it back a little bit. There's a C. Right, so that started video recording, and you put out your arm again if you want video recording to stop. Let's see, did it stop? No, it didn't stop. Okay, put out a palm. Okay, we're just waiting for it to recognize. Come on, boy. Right, palm control. Bring it back a little bit. Okay, it's green. I can put out my arm. Did it stop? No, it didn't stop. Palm. Wave. Okay, it's flashing yellow, so I didn't recognize that. Okay. Moves back a little bit. Right. It's showing yellow. Put out my arm. See if it recognizes that. Right. Hello, Spark. Okay, so the first thing I want to test is the gimbal sensitivity. Select the buttons at the top and you select gimbal, and then you'll see the gimbal pitch speed. Now normally this speed is 50, and I actually played around with this a little bit, but gimbal's pitch speed is 50. Now you can see that in the background, that is at 50. I'm going to exit this just to show you what the speed of 50 is. That's pretty fast, way too fast for any decent kind of filming. I'm going to select that again, and it's no use for me setting it any higher because I don't want it high, I want it nice and smooth, slow. So I'm going to bring it down to the speed of 1. I discovered that you can actually drop down to 1. Now, that is at full tilt. You see how slow that is? that is a little too slow. So you need to experiment and find where your comfortable speed is. I think for most people, they would prefer something like a 5. Oop, I've got it on 4 there. But yeah, I suppose you can leave it on 4 as well. Okay, I'm going to put mine on 5. And there you go. That's nice and smooth. Slow, but slow is good. Okay, let's go for a little flight. Alright, that is in the normal speed. Okay, let's take it a little higher, and then while it's panning over or going over the field, I'm going to drop the... There you go. Now how's that for a nice gimbal motion? Nice and smooth, a lot better than it was. I'm going to bring it back, I'm going to tilt it up. So yeah, it's a lot more controllable. I like that. Righty. Okay, the next thing I want to test is, point the gimbal all the way forward, is sport mode, and let's see if the gimbal still does a lot of that bouncing and going crazy. Okay, accept. Right. Okay. That's our high-speed droney. Bring it back to us. I'm going to float it across the field here. Let's really put it through its paces. Bring it sharply across my car. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty extreme flying. And the very last thing I quickly want to test, while we still have some battery left, is the dronies. So let's just stop the recording first. I select myself. Okay. And droney. Click droney again and tell it the distance it must go. All the way up to 40 meters. I don't want it to go that far. I only wanted to go to about 26 meters. And I click go. I'll give you a warning. And there we go. Now I selected 26 meters, which isn't very far. It should be about just on the other side of that field, and then it should stop. And it's not stopping. Ooh, that's a little far.
No signal.
Okay, it actually lost signal. Interestingly. So I'm going to bring it back. But it did stop, at least. It stopped pretty quick. Right, now at the moment it shows disconnected. Oh, there we go. Connect again. Okay. Connect to the Spark. Actually, I now had a disconnect, which is interesting. I never had a disconnect before. I'm just going to do a quick landing. Now, interestingly, I've never experienced a problem where my mobile device would disconnect from the remote control. And with the new firmware, that has just happened. So let's hope that's a one-off. Okay, it's connected. We go back into our DJI application. Click go fly. Right, start it up again.
Take off.
Let's try that droney again. I'm going to select the droney. I'm going to make it very short. Let's make it about 16 meters. And go. Now 16 meters obviously isn't very far. Let's see how far it goes. It's recording the droney. And distance is actually already showing 28 meters. So it is ignoring that, and I've decided I'm going to stop it there and I'm going to bring it back. So it's ignoring the distance limit that you have, and it is also not rising, which is a bit of a problem. Let's give that one more shot. I'm going to make 18 meters.
Low battery warning.
Click go. And let's check on its distance, how far it goes. Right, it's already at 52 meters and it keeps going and it doesn't rise much. Right, so our battery's already going down again. So unfortunately, am I happy with the new firmware? Well, it flies okay for now. I'm a little concerned about that disconnect I experienced. But otherwise, the firmware seems okay. I seriously doubt that it has sorted out the droney issues. Since it didn't sort out the droney issues, it's pointless for me even going to try the rocket or any of the other things. I'm not disappointed in the firmware, but some of the things that I was hoping would be sorted out don't seem to have been completely sorted out. let's hope that DJI takes note and actually sorts out a lot of the problems people have experienced, such as the disconnect with your device and your remote control, which I just experienced on the latest firmware. There you go guys, that's what you have with the latest firmware on the DJI Spark.